Unpleasant incident on Long Island medium Theresa Caputo's birthday. Popular medium Theresa Caputo recently celebrated her birthday, but an embarrassing incident occurred during that joyous moment. Her ex-husband, Larry Caputo, was present at the birthday party, but he had to face extreme humiliation in front of everyone. After the incident went viral on social media, Larry Caputo posted an emotional post on his Instagram, which reflected his grief. After this incident, many criticized Theresa's behavior, because even though she is an ex-husband, many felt that she should not have been publicly humiliated in this way. Theresa's behavior has created mixed reactions among her fans. Some have sided with her, while others have blamed her. However, the incident has brought up the tensions in their past relationship once again. It was Theresa Caputo's birthday, a day meant to celebrate her life, her accomplishments, and the connections she had made with those around her. The air was filled with laughter, chatter, and the clinking of glasses as friends, family, and even a few former clients gathered to honor the beloved medium. The room was vibrant. The decorations sparkled in gold and white, and the scent of freshly baked treats filled the air. It should have been a day of pure joy. But little did anyone know, the evening would take a sharp turn toward discomfort and public humiliation. Among the invited guests was Larry Caputo, Theresa's ex-husband. Despite their divorce, they had remained on somewhat cordial terms. It was an effort, though, a work in progress, for their relationship had been riddled with its fair share of struggles. Larry's presence at the celebration was a sign of maturity, of two people who had worked through the hurt and moved on, perhaps not as friends, but as individuals who had learned to share space. As the party wore on, a lighthearted moment between Theresa and her friends escalated into something unexpected. Someone brought up the topic of their past marriage, perhaps out of curiosity or perhaps in an attempt to understand the complexities of Theresa's spiritual work. It was meant to be a passing comment, but Theresa, in a moment of defensiveness or perhaps bitterness, made a public remark that cut deep. "Larry and I were like two parallel lines," she said, eyes scanning the crowd, her voice laced with a sharp tone. "We started in the same direction, but eventually, we couldn't stay on the same path anymore." The room grew quieter. Larry, standing off to the side, tried to smile through the awkwardness, but his face betrayed him. He had no intention of discussing their private matters, especially not on the night meant to celebrate Theresa's life. But it was too late. The comment lingered in the air, heavy and uncomfortable. The crowd, unsure of how to respond, murmured among themselves. Some exchanged nervous glances, while others attempted to steer the conversation elsewhere. But it didn't end there. Theresa's next words, spoken louder now, felt like an unintentional jab, one that would go viral in moments. "Some people think they know what's best for you," she continued, directing the comment straight at Larry, "but sometimes you just have to cut them out of your life to move forward." The room fell completely silent. Larry, unable to mask his hurt, looked down at his feet, his face flushed with a mixture of embarrassment and sadness. It wasn't the public humiliation he had expected, nor the type of thing he would have imagined at such a significant moment in Theresa's life. He excused himself quietly, stepping out of the crowd and into the cool air of the evening, away from the party that had turned unexpectedly cruel. The incident, as is often the case in the world of social media, was soon trending. Clips of Theresa's words, along with Larry's hasty retreat, spread like wildfire. Some people supported Theresa, claiming she had a right to express her feelings, while others condemned her actions as cruel and unnecessary. The backlash grew quickly, and it wasn't long before Larry himself took to Instagram to express his grief. In an emotional post, he wrote, "I've tried to move on, tried to remain dignified, but this isn't the kind of respect I thought I would ever have to ask for." We all have a past, but we should be able to reflect on it with kindness, not with humiliation. I will always care for Theresa, but no one deserves to be treated like that, especially not in public. The post was shared widely, with fans flooding the comments section, some expressing their sympathy for Larry, while others claimed Theresa had acted within her rights. It sparked heated debates online, drawing attention not just to the incident, but to the complexities of their relationship, a relationship that, despite its end, had never fully healed. Theresa, too, responded in her own way. Though she didn't publicly apologize, she posted a brief message, addressing her fans with a calm demeanor. "We all make mistakes. Some things said in the heat of the moment can be hurtful. I've learned that I need to reflect on my actions just like anyone else. Thank you to those who continue to support me. And to those I may have hurt, I am truly sorry." The incident, while painful, forced both Theresa and Larry to face their unresolved feelings. The public scrutiny had reignited old wounds, and in the months that followed, both of them would find themselves reconsidering not just their past, but the way they presented their lives to the world. As for the fans, they were divided, some advocating for a second chance for the couple to reconcile, while others felt that the incident was a clear indication that their past could never be completely mended. But one thing remained clear: no matter how strong a connection once was, no relationship, even one as public as theirs, could ever escape the weight of the past. And so, amidst the birthday celebration, a moment of happiness had turned into an unfortunate spectacle. A reminder that sometimes the past is a harder thing to move beyond than we ever realize. However, it was a typical busy morning at the hair salon in the heart of Long Island. The hum of blow and the soft chatter of clients filled the air as Theresa walked in. Dressed in her signature black outfit, platinum blonde hair flowing like a wave, she looked like any other person coming in for a quick touch-up. But there was something special about her presence. Theresa had just finished a reading for a client earlier in the day and was ready for a break. She settled into a chair by the window, waiting for her appointment. As the stylist, Janet, started mixing the dye for her highlights, she struck up a conversation. "So, Theresa, how's work going?" Janet asked, her hands moving skillfully through Theresa's hair. "Busy as usual," Theresa replied with a smile. "But it's always rewarding. You never know when a message is going to come through." Janet laughed. "Yeah, you're always so tuned in. It's incredible." Theresa's eyes softened, sensing something in the air. She tilted her head, narrowing her focus. "I know you're busy with your work, but I'm feeling something right now. There's someone here who wants to speak with you." Janet paused, her hands freezing midair. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" Theresa nodded, her tone serious but gentle. "Yes, I'm sensing a woman. She's passed, and she wants you to know that she's with you." Janet's heart began to race. "Who is it?" Theresa closed her eyes for a moment, letting the connection strengthen. "She's older, someone you loved deeply. She says she was like a second mother to you. Does that sound right?" Janet's eyes filled with tears. My Aunt Linda. She passed away last year, but I didn't know she was still with me." Theresa smiled softly. "Aunt Linda is here with love, and she wants you to know that she's watching over you. She's proud of you, especially with how you've been taking care of your family. She says you've been stronger than you give yourself credit for." Janet wiped away a tear, overwhelmed by the message. I never imagined I'd get a sign like this today." Theresa reached out and gently placed a hand on Janet's arm. "They're always near, even when you don't expect them. Sometimes they show up in places you least expect." As Theresa sat back, the atmosphere in the salon felt charged with warmth. Janet, now in tears, took a deep breath, feeling the weight of grief lift just a little. The connection wasn't just a reminder of loss, it was a message of love and presence, a reminder that those we've lost are never truly gone. As the stylist finished with her highlights, Janet couldn't stop smiling through the tears. "Thank you, Theresa. This means more than you know." Theresa gave a comforting nod. "It's my gift, but it's always an honor to bring those messages through. Remember, your aunt is right here with you, always." As she left the salon later that day, Theresa knew she'd given more than just a reading. She had given someone the gift of closure and love, wrapped in a moment of unexpected connection. However, Theresa Caputo had always known she was different. From a young age, she could hear whispers, soft and faint, from a world beyond the physical. But it wasn't until she became an adult that she realized her true calling. As she walked through Long Island, her spirit guide spoke to her, guiding her to help those who needed closure from the loved ones they had lost. One evening, as she sat in her cozy living room, the air thick with the smell of candles and sage, a new vision struck her. A young woman appeared, her face filled with sorrow. She was standing near the window, looking out at the full moon. Theresa closed her eyes and let her breath slow. She felt the presence of the woman's spirit, and the voice began to form in her mind. "Help her," the voice said softly. "Tell her I'm here." The woman was Emily, and she had been struggling with the loss of her brother Daniel. Daniel had passed unexpectedly in a car accident, and Emily felt lost without him. She had sought out a medium in the hopes of finding some peace, but her heart remained heavy. Theresa, determined to help, arranged a private session with Emily. When Emily entered her home, she immediately felt the warmth and peace that radiated from Theresa. There was no judgment here, only understanding. As the session began, Theresa closed her eyes and placed her hands on the table in front of her, grounding herself. She took a deep breath, feeling the energy shift. "I have a message for you," she said softly, her voice calming. "Your brother is here, and he wants you to know that he's at peace." Emily's eyes welled up with tears. "I don't know how to live without him. It's like a part of me is missing." Theresa nodded, connecting with Daniel's spirit. "He's showing me a moment when you two were children. You were playing in the backyard, and he let you win at tag. You laughed so much that day. He wants you to remember that joy, that love you shared. That's what he wants you to hold on to." A flood of memories rushed back to Emily, memories she had buried deep within her grief. She saw Daniel's face, his smile, his laughter. It was like he was right there with her. "Your brother says he's still with you," Theresa continued. "He's been sending you signs, like the butterflies you see in the garden and the feeling you get when the wind brushes past you. He's telling you not to worry. He's okay, and so are you." For the first time since Daniel's passing, Emily felt a sense of peace. She no longer felt like she was lost in an endless fog of grief. Theresa had helped her connect with the one person she thought she would never hear from again. As the session came to a close, Emily stood up and embraced Theresa. "Thank you. I feel him now, and I feel okay." Theresa smiled warmly. "You're welcome. Always remember, love never dies." However, it was a brisk autumn evening on Long Island, and the sun was just beginning to set, casting a golden hue over the horizon. In a small, cozy cafe tucked away on a quiet street, a group of people gathered for an event that was far from ordinary. The room buzzed with excitement, the air filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods. But this wasn't your club gathering or a casual meetup. Tonight, an impromptu reading was about to take place, and the guest of honor wasn't just any speaker, it was Theresa Caputo, the famed Long Island medium. Theresa had been in town for a private event, but when a sudden cancellation threw her schedule into chaos, she decided to make an unannounced stop at the cafe. She walked in wearing her signature big hair, flowing blouse, and vibrant energy. The crowd, recognizing her instantly, couldn't contain their excitement, gathering around her in eager anticipation. "I know this was supposed to be a casual night," Theresa began, her voice warm and comforting. "But I feel that some of you have loved ones here, waiting to communicate with you." She glanced around the room, her eyes scanning each face. Sometimes, the spirit world has a funny way of bringing us exactly where we need to be. Among the group was a woman named Emily. She was a regular at the cafe, her warm smile always lighting up the room. But tonight, something was different. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. She hadn't planned on a reading, but Theresa's presence seemed to draw her in like a magnet. Her heart raced as she quietly whispered to a friend, "I hope she doesn't call on me." But it wasn't long before Theresa's eyes locked onto Emily. "You," Theresa said, pointing gently in her direction, "I'm getting something very strong from you. I feel the presence of a loved one, someone who passed unexpectedly. They're here, and they have a message for you." Emily froze, her breath caught in her throat. I don't know if I'm ready," she thought to herself. The loss of her younger brother, Ryan, had been sudden, a tragic car accident that still haunted her. It had been years, but the pain never fully healed. Theresa stepped closer, her voice soft but firm. "This is a message of reassurance. Your brother is okay. He's telling me that he's been watching over you, and he's sorry for the pain you've carried. He says you're doing better than you think. He's proud of you." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes, her heart aching with relief. "Ryan," she whispered under her breath. Theresa smiled warmly, as if she had known Emily her entire life. "He wants you to stop blaming yourself. He's always with you, especially during the hard times. You'll find peace when you stop carrying that guilt." The room fell silent, the air thick with emotion. Emily wiped away a tear and nodded, feeling an overwhelming sense of comfort. It was as if her brother's spirit had wrapped her in a warm embrace, reassuring her that he had never truly left. As the evening went on, Theresa continued to give impromptu readings, offering messages of love, closure, and guidance. Each reading felt personal, a unique moment between the living and the spirit world, as if the veil between the two had momentarily lifted. By the end of the night, the group felt a sense of connection not only to the spirits but to each other. Theresa had brought more than just her medium abilities. She had brought healing, comfort, and a renewed sense of hope. As she stood up to leave, Theresa turned to the group one last time. "Remember, we're never truly alone," she said with a gentle smile. "Our loved ones are always around us, watching, guiding, and loving us, even if we can't see them." With that, she disappeared into the night, leaving behind a room full of people whose hearts had been touched by her gift, forever changed by that unexpected impromptu reading on Long Island. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Mina. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe the channel.